legends, I hope you're all fantastic. I've got a treat for you all today because we have some more vintage effect emulation blocks for the Fractal ecosystem. I have to say a gigantic thank you to my buddy Nicholas, who did all the hard work here in converting measurements that I took of the hardware versions of these effects and turning them into blocks on the Axe-Fx 3. Nicholas started a thread over on the Fractal forum where they have shared the individual blocks. So you can go over there and grab those. I've just rolled these blocks into a few little presets to demonstrate them all for you all. I'll share the presets as well if it is easier for you to just load up some presets. So let's get straight into it. The Boss DC-2. I should really thank Verly over at Past Effects as well, who has let me borrow a bunch of their amazing vintage modulation pedal collection as well. The DC-2, if you don't know, is a small Boss compact pedal with 4 buttons that do preset chorus sounds. My favorite mode is mode 3, so I will let you hear that mode on here. Let's hear the bypass clean tone. On my Strat, this is the ODS 100 clean model. Now, we measured all 4 modes of this pedal and they are represented in scenes in this preset that I've shared here. One little morsel of trivia, if you're familiar with the Roland Dimension rack unit, the Boss pedal version, the original one anyway, doesn't have the high dimension mode on it. So it's just a slightly different rate, depth, and delay time for mode 4, but it also sounds pretty fantastic. Sounds great with some dirt as well. Now, the beauty of the Fractal is that if that's too much mix for you, you can adjust it with the mix control. The original pedal doesn't let you do that, of course, and you can get in there and kind of use these settings as starting points for your own custom tones. So I really love that. Next, let's go over to this preset, which actually uses a flanger block to emulate the kind of faux Leslie sound that the Arion SCH-1 is renowned for. Basically, the Michael Landau settings. There's a picture out there of Landau's SCH-1, and I set the pedal there and we measured it, and this is what you get. It's much more pronounced wobbly chorus than the Dimension. It's almost at the opposite end of the spectrum. There's a version with the chorus block, but I think the flanger block version actually sounds a little bit closer. I mean, there's no feedback in here anyway, so, you know, it's just a chorus with a very short delay time, I guess. You can, of course, get in there and tweak the rate and depth to your heart's content and really get it where you like it, but that's what corresponds to those classic settings on the pedal. For anyone out there who wants it, in the same preset, there is a 2290 chorus in here. Obviously, the 2290 by TC Electronic is a delay, but it has modulation. It can do short delay times. It is a great sounding chorus. And in measuring it, kind of what we discovered is that the bypass on the TC is actually hyping up quite a bit of high end. So these are the chorus settings on their own. I'll let you hear it, and then I will drop in a block that copies what the 2290 is doing to the high end of the entire signal. Personally, I prefer this chorus on a dirty sound over any of the other chorus tones that we've heard before. So what I'll do is I'll turn the chorus off to start, so we'll just hear the dirty tone. I'll kick it in and you'll hear this super wide sound with it because one side of the stereo spectrum is phase reverse, and then I'll kick in the parametric EQ for that last little detail in there. While we're doing some dirty tones and talking about vintage rack gear, I recently was introduced to the Sony DPS-M7. It is billed as a modulator, but it has this mode in it called a spiral delay, which is one of the coolest sounding delays I've ever heard in my life before. And really deep diving into this, it seemed like there were a few things with the way the panning LFOs work in the Sony that you weren't able to get in the Axe-Fx until Nicholas absolutely cracked it using this pitch block, the quad chromatic mode in here, which has modifier attachments available for the levels of all 4 voices in the detuner, but there's no detune going on. We're just using it for the level. So it would be cool maybe to see just this kind of panning setup added as, I don't know, like a volume block or something like that, so you don't have to use up as much CPU. Now what's going on, these are all attached to LFOs, and the LFOs themselves, you can see the rates in there, and the phase relationship between output A and output B on there is really, really important there. In fact, I think this is all just LFO 1 if we look at the modifiers. So 1A and 1A again, but with the parameter range flip, so they're 180 degrees out of phase. And then I think this one is going to be LFO 1B, so this is 45 degrees out of phase with the original LFO, and then this one's flipped as well. So yeah, we have this really interesting phase setup with the panners and a super vanilla 300 millisecond delay going into it. But this is really, really unique. I absolutely love this. Pretty wild, right? It's like an evolved version of the infamous Lexicon PCM70 circular delays, which you can also get from the Axe-Fx 3 on there. There's a factory type, and I think Nicholas also has some blocks for that one as well. So that's what's going on with the spiral delay. I'm going to go back to the Strat really quickly because I was lucky enough to borrow a vintage 9-volt electric Mistress, and it had its own thing going on, and we measured it at my favorite settings as well as some preset settings on there, and they are all in here. It sounds so good. My second favorite setting has a slower rate, more depth, and more feedback on it. This one really has that iconic electric Mistress kind of chime about it. And then to finish up, I've got a preset where I've tried to roll as much of my favorite stuff from this video into one preset. Scene 1 is mode 3 from the Dimension chorus. that faux Leslie setting. Skip around while I have the Strat. Scene 4 is my favorite electric Mistress setting on here, which is the very first one that you heard. Scene 3 is the 2290 chorus. I've even included a delay block in here with a panning 2290 setup if you want to use both together. Two 2290s in real life would be incredible overkill, but I love that it's so easy to do in here. Scene 5 is our friend the spiral delay. And then there's some bonus stuff from the last vintage effect emulation video that I did, like the H3000 detune. I've been running detune after reverb recently, and I kind of like it. And if you're wondering what these two multi-tap delay blocks here are doing, these are set up to do like a Yamaha SPX 90 symphonic chorus. Again, we measured the real SPX 90 at the factory settings, and you need two multi-tap delay blocks to do it, but it sounds pretty awesome. Of course, if you wanted different combinations of these, you can do it. Like I've got the electric Mistress flanger setting on, the H3000D tune, the spiral delay is set up, the panning 2290 is on. Why not? Why not go totally overboard? I'll play you all out with this ridiculous preset. I don't know what it sounds like yet. It might be totally terrible. It might be super awesome. But again, the blocks and the presets will be linked in the video description. Grab them, go and make some music with them, have some fun. Thanks so much for watching the video. I'll see you all next time.